Red Dawn is a 1984 American action drama film directed by John Milius from a screenplay co-written with Kevin Reynolds. The film depicts a fictional World War III centering on a military invasion of the United States by an alliance of Soviet Warsaw Pact and communist Latin American states. The story follows a group of teenage guerrillas known as the Wolverines in Soviet-occupied Colorado. The film features a wide variety of weapons. Red Dawn was made during the Cold War, a time when acquiring most modern Soviet weapons for filming was extremely difficult, if not practically impossible. What makes the film especially notable is how accurately it attempts to portray various Soviet weapons that were modern for their time. Let's start our walkthrough of the movie's weapons with handguns. The Colt single-action Army revolver with ivory grips is carried by Jed Eckert, played by Patrick Swayze, as his sidearm throughout the film. According to the film's storyline, Jed's emotional connection to this .45 Colt caliber revolver stems from the fact that it was previously owned by Jed and Matt's grandfather. The revolver used in the film was a personal piece owned by director John Milius. Combat pilot USAF Colonel Andrew Tanner, played by Powers Booth, is armed with a .38 Special Smith & Wesson Model 15 revolver equipped with Packmare grips. This is a credible sidearm for a fighter pilot, as the revolver was in service with the USAF in 1985, and pilots had a relatively wide choice when selecting their personal sidearms. Another Smith & Wesson revolver featured in the film is the Model 66, chambered in .357 Magnum. It is carried by Jed's brother Matt Eckert, played by Charlie Sheen. Among the pistols seen in the film, there is a .32 ACP caliber Walther PP, carried by a Nicaraguan captain, played by Judd Omen. The pistol was supposed to be a 9x18mm Makarov PM, but such a weapon was not available at the time of filming. Although the Makarov PM was not obtained for production, another Soviet pistol, the Tokarev TT-33, was. This 7.62 by 25mm pistol is seen in the hand of a Soviet airborne officer standing next to another paratrooper firing an RPG. A Tokarev pistol is also seen in the hands of Tony, played by Jennifer Grey, when the Wolverines interrogate a captured Spetsnaz soldier. The .45 ACP caliber M1911A1 pistol appears in a few scenes. It is first seen when it is pulled from the hand of a man and inspected by a Soviet paratrooper, who stuffs it behind his webbing belt. Later in the film, Colonel Tanner fires at one of the Soviet tankers in the snow battle with the M1911A1 pistol. At the beginning of the film, during the attack on Calumet High School, the leader of the Soviet paratroopers motions to his troops with a 9x19mm CZ-75 handgun. One of the rarest and most unique weapons in the film is the Finnish 9x19mm Jatomatic submachine gun. The Jatomatic is carried by Colonel Strelnikov, played by William Smith, in a custom hip holster. He is seen using it while hunting Matt and Jed at the end of the film. The Jatomatic was most likely used as a substitute for the Polish-made 9x18mm PM63 machine pistol, as none were available in the US at the time of filming due to the Cold War. The Jatomatic features an unusual mechanism in which the bolt moves at an angle of approximately 7 degrees relative to the barrel line, reducing muzzle climb significantly. It also included several other unconventional features. However, the weapon had its shortcomings and ultimately failed to generate enough interest within the Finnish military for adoption. Jatomatic was manufactured by the Finnish firearms company TAP starting in 1980. In 1984, 22 Jatomatic weapons were stolen from the factory, and during the investigation, authorities uncovered numerous irregularities and violations in the company's operations. For example, some firearms had been marked with duplicate serial numbers. It was also revealed that Jatomatic weapons had been illegally exported abroad. The background of the Jatomatic that appeared in Red Dawn and later in Cobra movie has never been officially confirmed. According to one rumor, the weapon used in the films was smuggled into the country by a commercial airline pilot. Eventually, in 1986, Finnish authorities revoked the factory's manufacturing license, bringing an end to the original Jatomatic submachine gun produced by TAP. The film features a single shotgun, though two different shotgun models are used to portray it. At the beginning, Robert Morris, played by C. Thomas Howell, uses a 12-gauge Winchester Model 1912 with a field barrel during the first encounter with Soviet soldiers in the national park. Later in the film, he is seen sawing off the barrel of the shotgun. This leads to a continuity break, as the weapon is now a Remington 870 Wingmaster. Robert continues to use the 12-gauge Remington 870 with a sawed-off barrel and stock for the remainder of the film. The Marlin Model 336C lever-action rifle appears when Arturo Aardvark Mondragon, played by Doug Toby, fires a single shot from the back of a pickup truck at Soviet troops. He also uses it in some of the ambushes later in the movie. Jed, played by Patrick Swayze, picks up a Ruger Model 77 ultralight bolt-action rifle from Mr. Morris's store at the beginning of the film. He uses it as a sniper rifle during some of the ambushes. When the young group is driving the pickup truck, in the gun rack above Jed's Ruger M77 ultralight is a .22 caliber Remington Model 572 Fieldmaster rifle. The weapon is not used in the movie. The AKM assault rifle is the standard weapon used by Soviet paratroopers and the Wolverines throughout the film. The production used Mahdi Arm semi-automatic rifles, which are Egyptian-made AKM variants, chambered in 7.62 by 39 millimeters. A total of 53 Mahdi rifles were used in the film, 32 of which were converted to full auto. In the scenes where Soviet paratroopers attack the school and Spetsnaz troops battle in the snow, AKS-74 rifles are used. These rifles were also Mahdi A-arm rifles, modified with Bakelite plastic magazines, skeleton stocks, and custom-made muzzle brakes resembling those of the AK-74. Cuban and Nicaraguan soldiers are equipped with FN FAL rifles, chambered in 7.62 by 51 millimeter NATO. A Ruger Mini 14 GB is briefly seen being handed out to freed prisoners at the re-education camp, and later used by an escaping political prisoner during the night raid. A few M16A1 rifles are also seen briefly in similar scenes with freed prisoners and escaping political prisoners during the raid. Moving on to heavier weaponry. At the beginning of the film, we see an RPK light machine gun used by Soviet paratroopers. However, a real RPK was not available during production, so the film used a Finnish Valmet M78 LMG, chambered in 7.62 by 39 millimeters, which most closely resembled the RPK. The Valmet M78 is seen with both 30-round curved magazines and drum magazines. This weapon is used by several Wolverines, including Erica Mason, played by Leah Thompson, Tony Mason, and Jed. As with the RPK and rifles, a real DSK heavy machine gun was also unavailable for the production. Instead, a mock-up DSK was built using an M60D machine gun. The M60D version lacks a traditional pistol grip or trigger. The real DSK is chambered in 12.7 by 18 millimeters, while the M60D fires 7.62 by 51 millimeters, meaning the DSHK is physically larger. Because of this, the mock-up does not fully match the size of an actual DSHK. The mock-up DSHK is seen in multiple scenes, mostly mounted on fixed positions. In a few scenes, Erica is seen operating it in the field. The Goryunov SGM machine gun was another weapon for which a mock-up was built using an M60 general-purpose machine gun. This fake Goryunov is used by Robert during the ambush on the Spetsnaz troops. These machine guns are also seen mounted in a Soviet armored carrier used for a firing squad. An unmodified M60 appears as a door gun on a U.S. Army Huey helicopter. During a battlefield scene with Matt, Jed, and Robert, a disabled Browning M2HB heavy machine gun is briefly seen mounted on a destroyed M42 Duster anti-aircraft vehicle. In the same scene, a GE M134 minigun and its articulated belt feeding tray can be seen lying on the ground. Both Soviet troops and the Wolverines use RGD-5 hand grenades in the film. These were mock-ups built by the props department based on photographs of real RGD-5 grenades. Another fake grenade seen is the RKG-3 stick grenade, which Tanner shows to a Yak-38 pilot just before throwing it into the aircraft's air intake. There are also two fake rocket launchers in the film. Soviet and communist bloc soldiers, and later Matt used a fake RPG-7. The prop was built using a 1950s RPG-2 launcher, to which a second pistol grip and a fake RPG-7 scope made from plastic were added. The rocket warhead was a plastic and rubber prop, and the fuse tip was a cap from a Crest toothpaste tube. As CGI wasn't available at the time, the RPG-7's firing effect was created using Estes model rocket motors, guiding the foam rubber projectile on wires to its target. The result was very convincing and successful. The second fake rocket launcher is the SA-7 Grail. In the film, a Cuban soldier fires a mocked-up SA-7 Grail surface-to-air missile at attacking American UH-1G helicopters. A fairly accurate SA-7 Grail mock-up was built using metal tubing and plastic. Red Dawn features several Soviet armored vehicles and aircraft, all of which are mock-ups. The Mi-24 Hind gunship helicopters were constructed around Aerospecial Puma helicopters. These mock-ups represented the earlier A-series Hinds, featuring a side-by-side cockpit instead of the later, more common tandem double-bubble cockpit. These helicopters were armed with fake Afanasev A-12.7 heavy machine guns and fake UB-32 rocket pods. The Mi-24 mock-ups were very well made and also appeared in other films such as Rambo First Blood Part 2 and Rambo 3. During the Wolverines' raid on the re-education camp, a full-size mock-up of a Yak-38 VTOL strike aircraft is seen. As for vehicles, the fake Soviet ZSU-23 self-propelled anti-aircraft gun was built on an American M8A1 cargo tractor. The same fake ZSU-23 appears in Rambo 3, 1988. The Soviet T-72 main battle tank was also built on the chassis of a surplus M8A1 cargo tractor. The turret was made of fiberglass, and the 125mm main gun was fabricated using aluminum and fiberglass tubing, with a black powder charge at the front to simulate firing. The mock-up was so well made that the CIA reportedly suspected they were real T-72s and demanded that the production company explain how they had imported them to the country. These T-72 mock-ups would later be reused in several films, including Rambo 3 and Three Kings. Among American armor seen in the film are the M42 Duster, 40mm self-propelled anti-aircraft gun, and a fake M1 Abrams main battle tank. Hope you enjoyed the video. Write in the comments what you thought of the Red Dawn movie and what things and details you found in the movie yourself. Also remember to like the video, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, it's worth doing so. It's free to subscribe, and you'll be notified when more interesting videos about firearms in movies are uploaded to the channel.